we looked at a query where we have a little bit more complicated fields up at the top. So it's not just something taken directly from the table, but we're doing a calculation. We're adding the credits taken plus the credits a student is enrolled for and getting the number of expected credits, how many they should have at the end of the semester if they pass all their classes. Let's now look at making the criteria a little bit more powerful. So by putting greater than or equal to 90, we were getting all the students that we're expecting to be seniors at the end of the semester. But if we want them to be juniors at the end of the semester, this is more complicated. A junior at Dominican is someone who has 60 credits or more, but does not have 90 credits or more. And so we actually have to say two things. We have to say, well, you need at least 60 credits, and you cannot have 90 credits or more, or you'd be a senior. So let's write that out. Let's say you must have greater than or equal to 60 credits. If you have less than 60 credits, you're not a junior. But you also must have fewer than 90 credits. And we can write this out exactly as I've done. In order to be a junior, someone would need to have greater than or equal to 60 credits and to have less than 90 credits. And we can combine things like this in our criteria. And let's run this and just make sure. Anna Smith has 75, Robert Crawley has 64, and Sarah O'Brien has 85. Those are our three juniors in our list of students. Because there must be a whole number of credits, you can't have a half credit. We could also have written this as greater than or equal to 60 and less than or equal to 89, and that would be the exact same. If it were possible for someone to have 89.5 credits, this would actually be different. So it's important to be careful about using less than versus less than or equal to, and making sure that you get the right number there. If it's less than, it should be 90. If it's less than or equal to, it should be 89. Now this happens enough that we want people in ranges, that there's actually a shorthand to do this as well. We can say we would like people between 60 and 89. And you'll notice that we use numbers that are inclusive. If we wrote between 60 and 90, it would include people with 90 credits. Those people are seniors. We only want juniors, so we need to be careful here to include between 60 and 89. So it'll include anybody in that range, and it'll also show anybody who has exactly 60 credits and anybody who has exactly 89 credits. Let's go back to the version we had before, greater than or equal to 60 and less than 90, and talk about that just a little bit more, and then a variation on this. This is going to be people who are juniors. And again, to be a junior, we use this and to say you must meet both criteria. You must meet this criteria, your number of credits must be greater than or equal to 60, and you must meet this criteria. Your number of credits must be less than 90. So and means you must meet both criteria. There's also an option of saying or. You just have to meet one of the two criteria. And we can do that to ask for students who are not juniors. So if you are not a junior, you could be not a junior because you have fewer than 60 credits, or because you have 90 or more. So if you are not a junior, you would meet that criteria if you have less than 60 credits, or you would meet that criteria if you have greater than or equal to 90 credits. And let's run this. We had 3 juniors out of our 10 students. There should be 7 students who are not juniors, and sure enough, that shows up correctly. We always think about and or from the perspective of the people who are going to get included in our results. So if you're a student and you'd like to be in the results, if it's and, you have to meet all the criteria as a student. If it's or, you just need to meet one of those criteria that are listed. This is easy to get backwards because if you think about, I want all the students who are freshmen and sophomores, and I want all the students who are seniors, that sounds like an and. But if you think about it from a student's perspective, I get to be included if I'm a freshman or a sophomore, or if I'm a senior. Think about it from the student's perspective or whatever is in our database. And if it's or, you just have to meet one of those criteria. If it's and, you have to meet all of them. So now let's see what happens if we have some additional criteria. So for example, I would like juniors, so let's go back to juniors, who have a GPA of 3 or higher. So I'm going to add GPA to our criteria. And so I've added the criteria here. GPA should be greater than or equal to 3. And I've also got this criteria next to it saying that they should be a junior, greater than or equal to 60 and less than 90 expected credits. Let's run this and see who's included. Just one. Sarah O'Brien has a GPA of 3.91 and credits of 85. The way this works is if we have two criteria and they are on the same line, they are ANDed together. So Access reads this as, you must be a junior, you must have these credits between 60 and 90, and you must have a GPA of greater than or equal to 3. If we put them on different lines, then they are ORed together. To be included, you have to be a junior, or you have to have a GPA of greater than or equal to 3. And that means when we run this, we will see the 3 juniors, even if they have a lower GPA. And we will see people who are not juniors. Tom Branson is a senior, but he has a high GPA. So in order to be included, you just have to meet one of the two criteria. You can be Sarah and meet both, but you just need to meet one of them in order to be included. So if we have things that are part of multiple columns, expected credits is one column, GPA is another, we can put the criteria on the same line here, and then they all have to be true. Or we can put them on separate lines, and then you just have to meet one of them. They are ORed together in that case.